All right. So this is gonna be our first recorded debate, kind of like just two best friends talking about what they're passionate about, not really knowing what we want to do or how we want to do it, but just
Yeah.
saying fuck it, because like we have amazing debates. Um,
Yes. Should we
uh,
give an introduction about ourselves or like,
yeah,
background and
yeah,
yeah.
I like it. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So yeah, just to start off with me, like, uh, I started reading One Piece or watching One Piece like back in 2010. So I'm like kind of the older, viewer of One Piece.
Yeah.
And yeah, and my friend here, he started a little later. If you want to introduce yourself.
So yeah, for me, I started way later. I think it was like when pandemic hit, which is roughly around like when a lot of people actually started getting into it. I saw like a trend for it, but I actually didn't
Yeah.
start because of the trend. I started because I went to a trip with this guy to Japan. It was amazing. We went to One Piece Tower, and I knew pretty much zero about One Piece. Well, not zero, just like 2% about One Piece. I knew who it was. I watched it back in Toonami, I think, but it was just like very sporadic episodes. I remember the original rap and everything, but didn't fully immerse myself in it until the pandemic. So, and funny enough, like I did start off, and like you can remember that. Like I started watching like just progressively until like I think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
giant, what was that name of that, the island with the giants with Brogy and
Oh, it was a Little Garden.
Little Garden. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
Little
stopped
Garden.
in
Yeah.
Little Garden. I give it a little break. I've watched more anime,
Yeah, it took
more
you a bit to
manga.
like, yeah, you were like slowly getting into it, but then when you finally got into it, like, yeah,
It was
that's
just,
when,
yeah,
yeah.
I binge. I remember watch. Oh my god, how long did it take me? Like 3 months, I think, like maybe even less. Just nonstop. I remember like at that time, I didn't really have a job, so I just like spent. I woke up, watched One Piece. I went just from start to finish. Like my whole day was One Piece. So it was a really cool moment. For this debate that we're going to be having, I'm really passionate about particular fight that
Yeah.
we've been talking about. But we got this idea because we actually started another debate. Maybe we're gonna re-record that. Well, to actually record it because we just had it like on Messenger
Yeah.
about the greatest father, and it was just like, man, such a great conversation. We should go ahead and record it, even if it's just for us, you know.
Yeah, even
Um,
just for us. Awesome. Yeah.
but yeah, this debate is going to be pre-time skip fights versus post time
Post
skip
time skip
fights. Yeah.
fights. Yes.
So I'm for the
Yeah.
side of pre. My best friend is for post. So
Yes, I'll be
uh,
for post.
I don't know. Should I start off? Is it something like pre, or do you want to start off with like post? It's like more
Uh,
recent.
dude, like I'm actually really excited to start it, but like
Okay,
I
cool.
just want
Yeah,
to
go
make sure
ahead.
that
Yeah,
I actually just want to make sure the recording is okay. Like, we should be good, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, is he recording?
yeah.
Um, I mean, worst case scenario, we'll do something about it. But again,
Okay,
we're just noobs here trying to
okay,
record
yeah,
the talks.
yeah, yeah. And we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out,
Yes.
and yeah, yeah. So, um, all right, man. Yeah, let me start, and I'm just gonna start with like the heavy hitters right now. I'm hella nervous because like it's about to get
Yeah.
heated.
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna start with the heavy hitters, man. Like, dude, Gear 5, Monkey D. Luffy, bro. Monkey
Oh
D.
yeah.
Luffy versus
No.
Kaido, man. Like, like, what can you do about that, man? Like,
I think there's no greater fight in anime. Just like the build up to it is amazing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, because I mean, Wano in itself has all these amazing fights. Um, definitely the big three: Sanji, Zoro, Luffy. And just all the and the rest of the crew too. They have some pretty good fights. So like Wano in
Which
itself, I gotta say is just
yeah,
just some
which were really great animated. Like
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would say in the whole of One Piece, those are, some of the best. Those are the best animations
okay, okay.
in
Hey, do you want me to like
One
give
Piece, I gotta say.
a rebuttal to that, or do you want to like go to through the whole list?
No, bro, no, yeah. Please feel free to interrupt anytime, man. Yeah, because
No, well, I mean, I don't really have much of a rebuttal. Like, for
yeah,
me is, and I saw someone talking about that too. I forgot who it was, but it's just like Monkey D. Luffy was like set a new standard for
yeah,
um Gear 5 transformations. Like people thought it was gonna be some epic looking kind of like Dragon Ball esque um mechanic, but it's just like
yeah,
so like different, but it made so much sense. So that is a strong rebuttal. I'm not going to lie, but um
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, just to name a few fights from just Wano in itself, like, yeah, I already named Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy, but
Mhm.
you know, the anime didn't do as good of a job with it, but I still think it's a great fight. But it was Big Mom versus Kid and Law.
Oh my god, them
Yeah,
on the manga panels were just
yeah,
chef
yeah.
kiss. Yeah. Well, I mean, you start off with some strong hits right there. Like, yeah,
That's
it's kind of cheating right
I,
there.
I
But I
I'm
feel
not gonna
it. I
lie.
feel
I
it.
started with the strongest thing with. I'm not
Okay,
gonna lie.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
got you. I got you.
yeah. I mean, like, what you got, man? Yeah, because pre-time skip.
Okay, so well, I don't know if I should like throw away my point right away. I think I'll hold off
Okay,
on my point,
okay,
but
for
yeah.
sure.
So,
Yeah,
but pre-time skip fights, just the the reveal of Gear Second was just so iconic, kind of
oh
like
man,
just
I
as
actually,
iconic
yeah,
as
dude,
Gear
yeah,
5, and it has showed up in like modern media, uh, as well.
yeah,
Like some like um in in the Olympics, just a lot of athletes you were able to do it, and it's just fantastic. So,
yeah,
um, that's with regards to of reveal, but all of Annie Slavi. I was like looking back and
yeah.
all of
And
Annie
he's oh,
Slavi.
that's not your
Ooh.
main point. Oh shit. Okay,
Oh man,
yeah.
nah,
What the
nah,
fuck?
that
Okay.
is not, man. That
Oh
is
shit.
not.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no,
Okay.
Annie
Okay.
Slavi is fantastic. It's actually
Yeah,
one. I wouldn't say it was my favorite arc, but I believe it's a lot of people's favorite arc.
that is definitely my
As
favorite
so,
arc, though. Yeah.
yeah, and it's actually what kind of like got me pushing to it. You were saying, "Hey, at least watch into Annie's Lobby,"
Yeah.
and I watched it. It was just so amazing. Everything that lived up to be, with uh, Usopp being able to kind of like talk his way, just being classic Usopp,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
for me that's a little side note of my main point that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Usopp pre time skip. Oh man, like not
Yeah, we do
does
love.
not
Yeah,
compare.
we love Usopp pre-time skip for
Oh
sure. Yeah.
yeah, it does not compare. Like that
Yeah.
Soga King moment.
Yeah.
Spoiler: Soga King is Usopp, but
Oh no,
that's
this whole thing is spoilers, bro. I started with the Gear 5. No,
oh yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know. Sorry for anybody that hasn't watched One Piece, but yeah, just Usopp. Uh, just being able to command the Giants and then his lobby was such a hype moment because you didn't expect that
yeah.
from him. You were like, oh, what's this guy going to do? But he was able to command some Giants, make them trust them, and just learned a lot. Because it goes back to Logran, Goda is just fantastic. Was able to connect Little Garden, such like kind of like a minuscule island that a lot of people kind of like maybe not write off as maybe not as important in the story, but was able to incorporate that into Enies Lobby, which is fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
the reveal of Monster Point, ooh,
Okay. Okay.
God,
Yeah. That's a good one.
fantastic.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. That's a good one. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't even think about
just
that, dude. Yeah. And Ennis Lobby, like, all right, I'm gonna give to your point a little bit just because I love Ennis Lobby,
yeah.
but
No,
like,
go ahead. Go ahead.
dude, dude, what's cool about Ennis Lobby is that like every Straw Hat basically they got their own like 1-to-1 fight, and you
Yes,
know,
exactly.
yeah, um, like Wano got that. Yeah, Wano got that like a little bit, not to the extent with the Straw Hats, at least with the Ennis Lobby. Um, but yeah, dude, there's so many good moments in Ennis Lobby, and I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
If we make comparison to like the one to one and Wano, and that's actually one of my biggest issue with
yeah,
Wano. Again, not my favorite. You know, a lot of people place in the top five, and definitely not for me. But uh, again, like I've been telling you, Wano felt rushed. You know, it
right,
was
right,
super long, but it just felt rushed, you know, like
yeah,
it was just a single island, but there was like so much going on and it could have been fleshed out so much more. And it felt rushed a lot of times. And one of those instances was Usopp, which, like, again, Usopp had a lot of memorable fights pre-time saving, even though I've seen it like just it's been a while since I've seen those fights. They're still memorable. And what I can remember is Usopp being like a supporting character in Wano, where he helped Otama shoot the little like Otama balls to the animal
yeah.
pirates. And the other moment was like getting his like head cracked by
By Ulti,
yeah, by Ulti,
yeah, by
exactly.
Ulti,
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't remember it was page one or Ulti, but yeah, by Ulti.
yeah,
And still standing. It was just like that. That was an epic moment, but definitely not as epic as
yeah, yeah.
Soga King, you know,
Oh no,
and the
no, no.
Giants. You know.
I will say to that, man. Yeah, I think Usopp, he's gonna have his time. Like, I
Oh
think that
yeah.
the reason, yeah, he would. I think the reason he wasn't focused on Wano was because he will have like just his big epic moment. I mean,
Yeah. Oh
speculation,
yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he'll have his big epic moment in Elbaf. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. I
yeah,
mean, like you said, you made a very fantastic point where
yeah,
Sanji had his whole backstory kind of like um just set up. You know, there's a lot of setup for
yeah,
Sanji's backstory, and like as much as I love to hate on, man, you know, Sanji's just Goda's favorite Straw Hat. You know, because like for me, like my favorite Straw Hat is Zoro, and like you is
yeah,
Sanji. So
yeah, definitely,
it's a good like dynamic. Of, you know, we have our differences on that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, you know, it was set up and just for Usopp as well. It was set up. It was set up from the beginning. Him being a great warrior, in Enies lobbies and Little
yeah.
Garden, like him realizing, seeing Brogy and I always forget the other giant, but
Dorian Broggy, yeah,
Dorian, yeah, Dorian Brogy, and them finding it out. Um, it's just fantastic, you know, like him
yes,
seeing like such great warriors and wanting to become that, and he will become that. I mean, I'm sure he will become that. So
yeah.
again, that's my point. I don't know if you want to continue on from your point on Wano.
Yeah, I like. I think it's good to compare like the fights in Wano
Hmm.
and the fights in Enies Lobby, right? Like, okay,
Yeah, I think like that's like good main
like
from
parallels.
post. Yeah, exactly, from post
Yeah,
time
yeah,
and
yeah,
and pre.
yeah. We can start off just with the main, with Luffy's main fight versus yeah, in both of the arcs, right? So
Yeah, I'll give you
that's
that
tough.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'll give you that point. Like
Yeah,
there's no contender right there. I mean, like
yeah,
I guess like you can say like the contender was just like year two and year three. but it's just being so like
Yeah, yeah.
outmatched by Rob. And the
I
only
I
reason he
think you can
survived
put
was go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry, yeah, I think you can put Bruno, like his fight against Bruno and with
Hmm.
Rob Lucci together, because
Oh
like
yeah,
because he reveals Gear Second, because that was an epic moment, like when
oh
he
yeah,
yeah, and he used it again with Lucci, but then he used it for the first time with
yeah,
Bruno. Yeah,
yeah.
uh,
With Bruno, it was just the reveal, and kind of like what they did right now, like with the episodes of One Piece, that they revealed Gear 5, but it wasn't really the fight. It was just the
yeah,
reveal. And then these two new episodes were just like big epic moment fighting,
yeah,
which is cool. Like, and it's the same thing that happened. You see the reveal and just fleshing it out with Rob, but again, I definitely have to give it to Gear 5. It's just no comparison in anime to
yeah, yeah. Action wise as well, yeah, I think I would give it to Kaido fight. Uh, when it comes to Zoro and Sanji, it's not as clear for me. Um, because just that first reveal of Diablo Jam, like in Enies
Uh-huh.
Lobby,
Oh
and
yeah, I
like,
forgot about
dude,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's where Diablo Jam came from, man.
exactly.
So
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Oh man, I
yeah,
completely like missed that. Like I do remember he had to fight with the wolf, and it was pretty cool. Like I wouldn't say like
yeah,
as epic. And again, that's actually again touching a little bit on my point. I feel like post time skip is a lot of focus on the big three and a lot of hype moments,
yeah,
whereas pre time skip is every single or every individual um, straw hat.
Straw Hat, yeah,
Zoro with Usopp with like holding his knife with his sword
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
just hilarious, but it's just like played such like a funny and important part of it. It's just like, oh man, so epic and hilarious at the same time. It's
Yeah,
it's weird. It's kind of hard to compare because it's like one is just outright epic. Like you're
yeah,
going to be watching King's fight and Zoro and Queen and Sanji and Kaido and Luffy, but you're not going to be laughing. And
yeah,
with Priest, just like hilariously laughing, like you're watching epic moments and laughing, which for me it's a personal because I love kind of like straying away from that. Like,
yeah. I watched the Zoro versus Kaku fight like maybe a couple months ago, and
mhm,
like it was pretty like it wasn't epic like King, but like it was still entertaining because like it was still pretty funny. I
yeah,
mean, it was pretty cool at times, but yeah, there's a lot of humor in it, and like, you know, and I really appreciate that, and I really like that about that fight.
yeah, and that's actually the great thing about I love about One Piece, or what got me started into One Piece is just the reality behind it. Like not everything
Yeah,
has to be so epic. No, not everything has to be so sad and gloomy. It's just there's moments where you're gonna be like fighting epically and like a fucking giraffe. Like that's a weird ass move. You're not gonna be like
when he
staying there.
does
Like,
the when he does
yeah,
the square, he
yeah,
becomes a square, and
exactly.
he does his like little kicks.
Yeah, you're like, well, like what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? Like, like that's not epic. Like you're just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
laughing
yeah,
it off. Um,
yeah,
but adding on to that, like Zoro's fight is just like cling,
yeah.
cling, 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 and then done in one shot. So that's
Yeah,
what
pretty much.
that's
Yeah,
something that I don't love about Zoro's fight. I love him as a character, and again, I resonate a lot with him. With his personality, I think that's actually one of our other subjects that we're going to be talking about.
yeah,
But what's it called for this one? It's just like definitely again no comparison between King and Luffy. So I
yeah.
guess like the only man even with the reveal of Diablo Jamba, like I still think Queen versus Sanji is so much more epic.
I watched those scenes so many times, but I also watched Diablo Jam so many times. So um, I haven't really thought about it, but it might be even for me, like those two fights, like just for
Yeah,
different reasons. But
yeah,
like,
I
Yeah.
Exactly. It's that, it's different. It's different reasons. It's
Yeah.
definitely you can't put one above the other. And for example, with Zoro, it's easily you could put the comparison behind um like one to one, because that's how Zoro is. Zoro is just he. I feel like he's more mental. He's like he's thinking of what his next moves are while he is fighting. So, but he's not gonna like
Mm.
blur it out. Not gonna say, kind of like Chopper. And like I have a really good point to make with Chopper and the other
Yeah.
Straw Hats, where
Yeah.
they're blurring out what they're going to do. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do that. And Zoro is just a silent type. It's just more in his head, thinking he's acting, he's fighting, he's doing this, he's doing that. But while he's doing that, he is okay. What can I do to defeat this guy? And that's actually what happened with King, where he didn't blur out like, "Oh, I'm going to um, attack you when your flames are out." No, he just like thought
Yeah.
about it. He had a flashback, and what's it called? I think he attacked, and that's how he is. So you can really put them one to one, and just the fight was more epic with King, and whereas with Queen and Sanji, again, the reveal of Diablo Jamba, the reveal of him kind of like becoming an android with Queen, it's just
Yeah.
completely different feelings. You can't really like compare it, but I personally would still give it to Queen.
Yeah. There was just a lot in there. Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's fine for that.
No, but
Yeah.
like going more deep into the least obvious fights, Straw Hats, individual Straw Hats.
Okay. Yeah. Well, who else was there? There
Well,
was
Monster Point was the big
Monster Point.
reveal
Yeah.
compared to, and oh man, it's just thinking about like um what's it called, um what he did with the ice oni. um Chopper was like being epic
Yeah.
in that moment as well. But it's just like Monster Pro was such a real that like it was, for example, in Wano he had the support of his friends. Like he knew that Marco was there, Zoro was there. He had the he wasn't really like in trouble. He was under pressure. That definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he was just like a cakewalk. No, he was under pressure, but he wasn't really in trouble. And with Monster Point, he was just like, fuck, like I need to save my friends. I need to do something, even though this is uncontrollable. Like I need to do this, because if I don't do this, like my friends are going. They're like I'm going to be a hindrance to them. And
Yeah.
him just making that decision and putting his body into like uh full proportion. I personally would give it to Monster Point behind that, because
Yeah.
it's hard to
I think
compare.
in terms of Chopper, yeah, you can't really like he didn't really have a fight in Wano. Like, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I think what I would say to that is that Wano did have the kid and law fight, so
Mhm.
that's probably what I would put in place of that. And
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
um, and
Yeah,
you know,
and again, like I'm not like um writing those off, but for me,
yeah,
I think there's a good point to bring in, like my main point that I wanted to
yeah,
say about like pre time skip. Post time skip focused a lot on side characters that
yeah,
just showed
yeah.
up. Kid, Law. And again, I'm not saying like I love Kid. Kid is amazing. I love Killer. I love Law.
Oh, killer, yeah,
Beige. Yeah, they're fantastic. I love them. Kid is probably like one of my favorite captains. Just that's the cool aspect. I'm a lot about the cool aspect. And it's just like love it. When I first saw it, it was just like that guy's fucking badass.
hmm,
But there was a lot of focus on those like side characters, and pre time skip was a lot of focus on the Straw Hats themselves. Each
Yeah.
individual Straw
Yeah.
Hat had a fight. Each individual Straw Hat had a struggle. Um, Nami against, was it Khalifa? No.
Cauliflower? Yeah, cauliflower.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Against her was her trying to decide, well, what can I do, because she has a devil fruit. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just a weakling, you know.
Right, right.
I'm a weak person. I'm there's not much that I can do. Like, I don't have a double fruit. I don't have the same power as the big three. So like it was them putting themselves toward the edge for their crew. And I feel like the post timescape, it's not really that, you know, it's not really them
No,
putting in
yeah.
their edge on it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
you
mainly the
don't
big three, like you said. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Um,
And again, correct me if I'm wrong. We could go into, like, I have way more other examples of like the Straw Hats fighting it out, but
yeah.
I can't think of many epic moments like that. Usopp, like, discovering observation haki was an epic moment. But even that, he, like, Frankie against like Senior Pink. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. That was one of my main points too. Of just like, yeah, one of the better post time skip fights. Yeah,
oh yeah,
senior
and it's
Pink versus
fantastic.
Frankie.
Like,
Everything. Yeah,
I have to give it to them. But again, it's just like moments here and there, and like fights wise, it's just a lot focus on the big three, and
yeah.
um a Luffy fighting Doflamingo, like him discovering or doing Bounce Man, um and what else? Like, I can't think of
That's all
any
good.
other.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you, man. Like, just I think yeah, pre timescape does focus on the straw hats more,
Mhm,
and like, I if you like that, which I'm pretty sure you know, like I definitely like that more.
mhm.
That just a more focus on straw hats, but that doesn't mean that you know the fights with the side characters in the post time skip. That doesn't mean that you know that's a necessarily a bad thing. I mean,
Oh
it is
no.
if you want to focus on the straw hats, but you know, yeah, like if you're a law fan, like you know, you're that's really good for you because you know you're
Yeah.
uh
Yeah, and,
you know he
it's
has
actually
these
like
epic fights.
there's more development on that, and it's
Yeah,
awesome. But oh man, how many characters do we have now? Like, everyone, and you can honestly say that everyone's like really fleshed out, maybe like fully fleshed out. But
yeah.
everybody that you meet, um, how was it, Miss Baby? I think that it was the one
Oh,
with
Baby
the
Five.
gun. Baby Five, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
that turns guns. She had really cool like backstory, and if you like
yeah.
that, like, all the characters that you meet have amazing stories, and you grow uh fond of them super well. But oh man, for me, it's just that, you know, the
Yeah.
thought of them fighting, and I
No,
mean,
I
like,
totally get that. Yeah.
I definitely want to bring in the other fights, because like,
Yeah, yeah, let's do
I
that.
made
Yeah, yeah.
a list for them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure,
I
for
guess like
sure.
the
Um,
comparison behind it is like Alabasta is a lot like Dressrosa, and
mhm.
one of my favorite fights was, um what's it called, versus Usopp and Chopper versus Miss Sunday and Mister Three, I believe it was, or
I think it
Four.
was yeah, I think it was Mr. Four and her name was it wasn't Miss Sunday
Miss
because
Christmas, no, Miss Christmas, yeah,
oh
Miss All
Miss
Sunday
Merry
was right,
Christmas.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Uh, that fight, oh my God, like, Usopp being able to find out what was the weakness behind it, kind of like,
Yeah.
again, more like Sanji a little bit, Zoro. Like, what is this weakness? What can I do? What can I do
No, he
to
did his
actually,
thing,
like,
man. Yeah.
yeah, uh, fuck, like, Corona and Usopp, like, it's mainly like all of these fights are that, because I can't compare, like, for example, that fight. Can you really compare um Pika Pika with Zoro against
No, man,
Mr.
no,
One and Zoro, like
no, no.
it had a good moment, but it's just like, oh, just the gratitude behind it. Like I really can't compare with like the big three fighting
Yeah,
on that, you know.
yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. Mr. One and Mr. Two's fight with Zoro and Sanji. Yeah, those take it for me. Like those were like some of my favorite fights in all of One Piece, to be honest. Like especially
yeah,
Mr. Two versus Sanji, just because I love both of those guys. So
yeah, like
yeah,
what he like this what Zoro discovered what he could do, and Mr. Two and Sanji behind it. But again, like post time skip, Sanji like fucking swung at Doflamingo. Like he knew how strong like Doflamingo was, and he gave no shits. Like he acted first because he wanted to protect his crew. And again, there's not really like behind it. It was a cool fight. Like for me, Mr. Two and Sanji is just more the sentimental value because we both love Mr. Two. Like in the beginning, like
yeah,
when you see it, it's just like
yeah,
you know, it's a cool fight, but then after it's just like the meaning behind it is just so epic. And
yeah,
Mr. One and Zoro again, it was done in a single swung. You know, like he swung his knife, he was able to cut him, and that's it.
yeah.
But like the
Um,
peak behind it, was just, I don't know.
yeah. Like for me, I would say that Zoro versus Mr. One, and then Pika. Like, yeah, Zoro versus Mr. One is better, but Pika has like this cool moment where Zoro like turns his swords black, and that was
Mhm.
actually like the first time that he did that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool, I gotta say. But yeah, just the gravity behind the Mr. One fight was just,
Oh yeah.
way better,
Yeah.
and like yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I don't know, him being able to discover that is just fantastic. But again, like my main point, I guess that I wanted to say was, and now that I'm like talking to you about it, is
Yeah.
pre-time skip is a lot focused on like the straw hats, and again I have more examples.
Yeah.
It's called Trailer Bark. Chopper
Okay.
shines so much.
Okay.
Usopp
Yeah.
shines so much. Uh, Miss Ladyfingers, I believe. I wrote it down. Nami misses Miss oh, the Ladyfinger or something like that. Double
Talking
finger
about.
in Alabasta.
Oh,
That
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
fight
She actually
was
had a good fight there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that fight was fantastic. And again, it's just like them being on edge, being like on the verge of I gotta act because if I don't act, I'm gonna fucking die. You know,
Yeah.
and the only other one in compare like the only other Nami fight that they could compare is um when she acquires Zeus.
Right, right, right.
But I don't know, like definitely didn't see the danger, didn't see like the whole death thing behind it.
Uh, yeah. Those are kind of even for me if we're talking about Nami. Like, I do think it is pretty cool that she got Zeus. Like, she got like a Yonko's
Hmm.
little buddy. So, um, yeah. Dude, I'm just looking at all the arcs. Like, I wrote down like all the arcs from
Uh-huh.
pre and post, and like there's a shit ton to talk about. So, but yeah, okay. If we're comparing Alabasta and Dressrosa, here's the thing about Dressrosa though. Like, there's the side characters, that who eventually become the Straw Hat Grand Fleet,
Mhm. Oh,
and
oh my god.
bro,
Oh,
they had some good fights.
uh,
I'm not gonna lie,
oh
man.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's a good example of like, yeah, they showed the side characters, but like they had some good fights for those too. Like,
Mhm.
and I don't really have complaints for those fights. Um, yeah, like Bartolomeo, um, yeah,
Bartolomeo's cool.
Cavendish, Sai. Sai Chinjiao, he had just this random like
Oh,
hella sick fight. Like
well, you didn't expect it. It's just like,
yeah, yeah. They put all the budget in his fight. I'm like, I love that, but like, yeah, that was a sick fight.
oh man. Oh god, all
Yeah,
those fights that it's just like little moments where you kind of like forget here and
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Oh god, so such amazing. I mean, it's like I guess it all boils down to preference. Like, do you want to like do you want to focus more on the Straw Hats, or you want to focus more on like the side characters?
yeah.
I
I
guess
hadn't thought about that. But
like
yeah,
rewatchability, I would definitely say like pre time skip, because like post time skip, or I don't know, like like it would maybe like be the other way around, because like pre post time skip, it's just like one epic moment, and pre
yeah.
time skip, there's a lot of build up to it, like it's not just one
No,
single
that's
moment.
true.
For
Yeah,
example, like that Usopp versus Miss Christmas, like that was like a couple episodes, I believe.
yeah.
It
I think it
wasn't
was.
just like one single episode. Zoro versus King was a single episode. Sanji versus Queen was a single episode. Gear 5 should have been a single episode, but they want to like cash grab that and chopped
Bro,
it up in
they
three episodes.
yeah, they extended that so much.
Oh man, like
I mean, I'm
don't
not
even get
complaining.
me
Yeah.
started on the anime, man.
No, that's a different topic, bro. But like, yeah, I'm not complaining. I mean, you know, I'm happy with the Sanji fight. Yeah, I'm happy with the Zoro fight. Yeah, but and it's a lot in the Gear 5 that I like. But yeah, that's a different topic, bro. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
different topic.
completely different topic.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Uh,
I think like I made my point. I guess like
yeah.
um, it's a good point to think about. Like I hadn't thought about, like I thought about like my point of view. That it's just like so many epic moments with the Straw Hats,
Yeah.
being on the Bridge of Dead. But you made like a fantastic point. I was like, there were some epic fights with Law and Kid, and Cavendish, Bartolomeo, all of those fights. Like, what else? Even like we didn't get to see too much about it, but we did hear about it. Aokiji versus Akainu.
Aokiji versus Akinu. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if I would really count that because they didn't really show that.
yeah. They
But
didn't show
yeah,
that, but like you already know it was epic.
yeah,
Just like the aftermath behind it.
that's true. Yeah,
Um,
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
what happened in
Okay.
what's it
Like,
called, Punk Hazard?
oh, Punk Hazard.
What
Um,
great fights had over in Punk
dude,
Hazard.
I'm not gonna lie. I like I
Forgot it
just skipped through
existed.
Punk Hazard like in any way in my mind. Like, yeah, while reading, I just skipped through that shit. I mean, yeah, obviously I read it, but like, yeah, I don't remember many fights from there, man. Like, yeah, versus Caesar. Like, no, that's no,
Nah, like,
no, no.
oh, you know
But
what?
yeah.
Zoro versus that Snow Chick.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool actually. That was
Yeah.
probably the best moment. Yeah, because
And again, like Zoro has epic moments. Him being
yeah.
able to scare so much, like this girl,
Oh yeah.
without
Oh,
using hockey.
what was sick when okay when Sanji heard the tear. Okay, because my Sanji
Yeah.
stuff, like because Sanji heard the tears of Tashigi, so like he came to save her like against Virgo. That was a sick moment. Yeah, that was sick.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I completely forgot
Um,
about that.
yeah, obviously I'm gonna
We
remember that
forgot.
one.
Wait, what happened to Virgo? Like, did he
Virgo.
die?
Yeah, like he basically died. Yeah, because Law cut him up, and then he
Hmm.
put the pieces of his body onto like some whatever,
Like
and
ice,
then
right? Like he was left
yeah,
on Punk Hazard, right?
yeah,
But I
yeah, yeah.
mean, you'd be surprised. Like there's a lot of like side characters. There's Wapple, like fucking Wapple is a poor character now. Like why?
Oh, okay, man. East Blue arc. Like, I mean, there are some nice fights.
Oh
Yeah, I
man,
mean, it's just kind of
no,
like
it's
little warm ups. Like, except for one fight, I would say,
which
but
one?
they're like little appetizers. I would say for the whole One Piece as a
That
series.
That
you
was
know?
like the first of a great fight, and it was just like it
Yeah,
didn't show that in the live action. But again,
yeah,
the funny with the epic where Usopp was fighting Mr. Chu,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
like freaking he swallowed up water, destroyed the whole forest, and Usopp was like, "Fuck, that's his power! Like, what the hell
yeah,
am I gonna
yeah,
do?" And just out of the blue, he's like, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna burn you." And he just like
yeah,
throws a bottle of alcohol, burns him, and he's just on
yeah,
fire. He's just like on the verge of death. And then Usopp comes up with a hammer, like like Usopp hammer, Usopp hammer.
yeah, yeah. That was
And then oh my
definitely,
god, like
yeah.
it cracks me up whenever I see it. It's like rubber band.
Yeah, yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
I freaking love it. Hachi
yeah,
versus Zoro was pretty cool. Like
yeah, yeah.
being
That was
being
cool.
able to fight because like I guess like that was for again it's Zoro fighting someone different, so someone where you think what's it called, like you're Zoro's used to fighting someone with a single sword or two swords, from his
Yeah,
childhood.
yeah,
Um, so and I would say like two swords maybe like rarely. The One Piece live action would say otherwise, but like from the manga and the anime, a lot of people is just like single sword style, and being able to fight someone six swords was just fantastic. It was like a great fight, and him being able to figure out how to beat them was freaking awesome. Um,
yeah. Oh yeah, that was like the good, like a good start of like, the matchups, like the format
exactly.
of
Yeah, yeah,
matching up people. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Sanji had Kurobi, and then yeah, Luffy with Arlong. So
I don't remember
yeah.
much about that fight. Do you remember? Like, did they
Uh,
fight? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, they fought underwater, right?
Against Kurobi. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they fought underwater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why, because like they didn't. Well, again, like it was hard to show on the live action, but they didn't show that
Yeah,
on the live action. But yeah, like that again. That's an epic moment, like being able to fight underwater.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. But no, I mean, Zoro versus Mihawk the first time. Yeah, that was, just
and
legendary.
and and that's just like a side fight, it wasn't even like a main fight. It's just like understanding the gravity of what you are going to go into,
Yeah.
and like going more into my topic where like pre-time skip everybody. I'm not saying just like, for example, in Wano, Zoro was on the verge of death. He fucking saw the Grim Reaper. Like he was
Yeah.
like 2 seconds away from dying. Like that guy was literally going to die. Um, Sanji is all like fucked up, mentally and physically,
Mentally, yeah, emotionally,
and
yeah.
yeah, and of course Luffy, like him being able to be on the verge of death, and then like um, just being able to summon Gear 5 was like awesome, but everybody else wasn't like Frankie General really wasn't. Usopp, I mean, he got his head bashed in, but other than that, like he was fine. Nami was perfectly fine. Uh, oh, that's something that
How
we didn't talk about. Like, well, go ahead.
uh what's his name? Jinbei versus Who's Who. That was a good fight.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that
That
was
was
a really good fight. Yeah, and
yeah.
that was a
Return
straw
of
hat too. Yeah.
yeah, Rokushiki techniques. Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I really like that too. For me, I guess like another one again, aside from the big three, because you already know that's gonna be epic. It's hard to say is, oh, it was an epic fight. Well, yeah, it's a big three. They're supposed to have epic fights.
Yeah.
But Black Maria versus Robin. Oh man, like I didn't see it in the anime, but I heard it was just freaking just epic.
Oh
I don't know
yeah, no,
if you
I
saw the
love that
fight.
one. Yes, yes. Yeah. We were waiting for Robin to pull out something like that, just like make her whole body giant and, you know, do all this stuff. Still waiting for her to use hockey. It was still unclear if she used hockey at that point or not. But yeah,
Not sure. I mean, you could argue yes, like you could easily argue that she did use it. Um,
yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say that they wouldn't. Does Usopp use haki? No, right?
This
Or
Usopp
just
dude.
observation,
Yeah, he
right?
just has observation. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, see what other arcs there are here that. Um, I
The
mean,
preliminary fights with like just in the live action was fantastic, but the uh red hair pirates against the mountain bandits,
okay.
that was an epic moment, just like out of
Talking about the live
nowhere.
action now.
Well, the live
Yeah.
action Yasop was phenomenal, but
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
in the anime and the manga it was an awesome moment because you never like expected it. And again, it it's hard to compare against like any other against post time skip, but it was a good start of like how cool the anime was going to be.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Like post time skip. There's really not that much anymore. Like, because like I think a lot of the epicness is going to come in the future.
Mhm.
Um.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with
So
I mean you can I didn't even include that, but you can even include
yeah.
Paramount War, like the
Yeah.
that that was a fucking epic ass fight, and
Yeah.
again that was pre time skip too.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like post time skip right now doesn't really have anything against against the
I
War of the
get like
Best.
it would be unfair though. It would be unfair to to include like Paramount War into that because it's just like well one it was only Luffy and um two it was just like really nothing to compare. I mean we will have some comparison
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
future like 2-3 years from now,
Absolutely.
but as of right
Yeah.
now no. Now, as closing arguments, like how do you want to handle it? Do you want to like have like a vote, final
Yeah.
decisions,
Yeah.
who we
I think let's
choose?
just have just a in conclusion, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, yeah, just like our final thoughts on the
Yeah.
matter.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess we have talked about it a little bit, like in the
yeah,
conclusion behind it, but I guess
yeah,
like for me, the conclusion, you could like tell me another one, but for me, my conclusion is uh, pre is Straw Hats, post is
yeah,
everybody. You know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like if our question was what has the better fights, pre time skip or post time skip? If you just ask me like like at gunpoint, like, all right, what's better? Uh, bro, like like honestly, my heart says pre-time skip. Like when when I was preparing for this, I was like, okay, I got post-time skip. I'm like,
Well,
but
you
I know
started
I
out with
know
your strongest fights.
like dude, like I know post-time skip has like some epic stuff right now.
Mhm,
Like and like the classic example is just Wano.
mhm.
Like yes, has all this epic stuff, but like at least right now, pre-time skip has all the nostalgia, all the emotion, and all the
Yeah,
backstory, and me, like I'm more about that. Like I'm more
yeah.
about just my personal connection to One Piece. So like I would probably give it to pre-time skip right now. Um, but in the future, when the Blackbeard stuff comes out, when they fight Blackbeard or when they fight, the red hair pirates in whatever way, then I think that it would be a harder decision for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, if you're into epicness and, climactic fights and, good animation, I would say go post time skip. But,
Yeah.
for me, who's more into the nostalgia, yeah, I would say pre time skip, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre
Yeah.
time skip's where it's at.
I get it. Uh,
Yeah.
it really depends, and I guess like what we could do just to extend the time a little bit is would you consider a good fight being epic, or what would be your criteria? Yeah, let's do that. Like,
Okay.
let's just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
add on
Yeah.
to it. Like, just like aside
Okay.
from One
Yeah.
Piece, like we can incorporate it a little bit. But what would be your definition of a good
Yeah.
fight?
No, that's a great question. That's a great question. Can I talk about my favorite fight in One Piece?
Oh yeah, of course.
So for me, it's got to be Sanji versus Queen, man. Like,
Hmm.
objectively, I've told you this before, but
Yeah.
objectively, Zoro versus King is better. Objectively, Kaido versus Luffy is better.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, but for me, to answer your question, what consists of a great fight is like a mix between epicness, but also emotion and just connection to the character.
Yeah.
And I think that the Sanji fight has that,
That that fight conveys it super
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, like, the epicness comes with when he does Ifrit Jam and he turns like the fire blue, and like I was really hyped for that. But also, yeah, but also his character development of like, finally accepting himself and accepting the people who care for him, and when they
Destroying
showed,
the raid suit.
yeah, when he destroyed the Riz, even though I love the raid suit, like, yeah, and then when they showed Zeph, like, yeah, and then especially when the live action came out, and seeing Zeph's connection with Sanji again, and
Yeah.
watching Baratie again, and just realizing that how important it is to have Zeph in that fight.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what I would say was my favorite fight of the whole, and I think that's what constitutes a great fight.
Yeah, that is a really good answer. I hadn't really like thought about it, but like you said it fantastic. Not now that like you talked about that, I guess for me again, it kind of goes back, and again, Alabasta is one of my favorite arcs, and
Yeah.
Sabaody is too. And actually, you can see like the comparison behind it, where I see a great fight when you don't know who is going to win. You know,
Okay.
you could either see it going one way or the other, and you seeing like, oh my god, like you did that. You were able to like overcome your fear, overcome your troubles, like being behind, like in your mind, your anything, just like act. Again, Miss Doublefinger, Nami just being completely outmatched and was able to win that. Um, and like even going back to Water 7, Usopp versus
Oh
Luffy.
man, so yeah, Usopp
Like
versus Luffy, man. Yeah,
like I was honestly cheering for Usopp. And like
I was too,
you
man.
you
Yeah.
you could say like, oh man, Luffy was going to win, um like no diff, but just him using his mind, like the dials and everything, to
Oh
be able
yeah.
to defeat Luffy was like, bro, there's actually a contender here. There's actually like a difference,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't know, like for me the post time skip is it's I don't know. I guess you could like correct me if I'm wrong, but
No.
I didn't really get that. I didn't really get like who is going to win. Is Queen going to win? Is King going to win? I don't know.
Um, I got that. I would say I got that with Kaido and Luffy a little bit, because he had
Oh
to,
yeah.
because he literally, like, he pretty much died like during that fight.
Oh
like
yeah. He
he like he
resurrected. Like
he actually died.
everybody
Like,
says.
like he actually died. And then his heart had to start beating again from the devil fruit. Yeah. Um yeah, like I thought he lost. Like, before that chapter came out with the Gear 5, yeah. Yeah, I thought he lost at that point. But no, I know what you mean, man. Like, it feels like it's not as difficult for them post time skip to, you know, to see like who's the winner.
Yeah,
Yeah, like probably going to Fishman Island, like, you know, you already knew they were gonna win. Like
gosh, like
1,000, like 1,000,000% they were gonna win. Like
there's no
they
doubt.
could take
Like,
1,000 steroids, man. They could not win against the Sharks.
oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
would you say pre time skip Straw Hats would have been able to beat um everybody in Fishman Island?
uh no, no, I don't, no, I don't think so. Like well, if they didn't take the steroids, yeah, they could beat them, but the steroids just like made
Yeah,
them,
and
yeah.
like more than the steroids, it's just like they didn't really like have any underwater power because Luffy had Red Hawk and Sanji had uh forget that flying ability.
Skywalk.
Yeah, Skywalk. He had
Skywalk,
Skywalk
yeah.
and he was able to use it on the water.
Yeah.
Zoro just being a fucking badass. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, they didn't really have that pre time skip. So it would have maybe been like even. Maybe they would have won. Not sure, but
I just kind of side note here, but who has the coolest fighting style? Okay, maybe this will be a different topic, but who has the coolest fighting style? You
I mean,
already know who.
yeah, I guess we can incorporate this because again, it goes into like what do you consider again like for me and going more into like what do you consider being a good fight.
Yeah.
I don't see Zoro's fight as good aside from King and Killer.
Oh
Those
man, the
were
killer
some
fight was that was
amazing
cool. Yeah,
fights.
yeah.
But I don't, other than that, like I don't really see them being like fantastic. It was just again, it's more mental and like nothing wrong against that. Like
No, that's true. Yeah, he's kind
I
of just slicing. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But it's just more in his brain. And again, that's why I love Zoro so much because that's a lot me. I'm more instead of like acting
No,
and
that's
doing, I'm
true.
more like
Yeah,
sitting down, like mentalizing what can I do and executing.
yeah, that's true. I
I would not
Yeah.
say Zoro has epic fights.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Like, you know, I do kind of like I kind of like showiness. You know,
Hmm.
like I might not appear it, but I might be a little showy myself. And um, yeah, and yeah, Sanji's fighting style is just like I just
Oh
think it's
yeah,
really cool. Like that's
oh
why
yeah,
it's a huge part of why I like him. Like, you
yeah.
know, literally light his leg on fire. Like,
Yeah, so
yeah,
and it's just like you never expect that, like you would
yeah,
expect
yeah,
Zoro to kind of like, oh yeah, I could see that happening. But
yeah,
with
yeah,
Sanji like laying his leg on fire, you're like, what the fuck, man?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then it turns
dude,
blue as like, and he's flying. He's turning invisible, and man, like, yeah,
exactly. You're like, whoa,
yeah.
like I
And
did not
he turns
expect
into a
that.
Power Ranger. Like, come on, man. Yeah,
The Black Flower Ranger, not just any Power
yeah,
Ranger.
yes, 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 yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Who's another one? I don't really like Nami's like fighting style. Usopp
Oh yeah.
has some cool fighting style, and I honestly like I like Chopper's fighting style pre time skip more than
Oh
post.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Post,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like Kung Fu Point.
Uh,
I really like,
nah, no, comfort. That's not it, man. Yeah.
but
um,
Smart Point is super cool.
yeah. Uh, Luffy is a wild card. Like, yeah, sometimes his stuff is cool. Gear second is just pure,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, epic. But Gear four is kind of goofy. Like, it is kind of cool,
Fat
but
Man.
it's kind of goofy. Yeah, man. Snake Man is cool. Yeah, Snake Man.
It's cool.
That
Yeah.
one is more cool. Gear five. Uh, I don't know, just some cartoon shit. So, I mean,
but I don't know. I really like that because it's just so him, you know, like
It is. It is. It is.
goofy
Yeah.
it is, cartoony, but like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the thought behind it is just like super cool, you know.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It is. Yeah. That is cool in its own way. But I would say like, but it doesn't like tickle the the part of me that's just like oh man, that was awesome. Like, you know. Um. When it comes to villains, I would say that probably what's his name? Borsellino, uh, Saratobi. Yeah, no, not Saratobi. Sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah, uh, Kizaru. Yeah, Kizaru. Kizaru has
Yeah, you
like I would say
like
he has the
fighting stuff, yeah.
coolest fighting style. Yeah, he has like the cleanest out of
Which is like
yeah, a lot of the
Kizaru
villains.
versus Sentomaru was just, oh man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and we didn't
um,
even really like talk about that, like cool fighting styles with like villains.
yeah,
Don't like
yeah.
Big Mom. Like it has some
No, Big
cool
Mom
like,
as
but
well.
like again, like I could see
Katakuri.
you liking it. You know, I could see
Yeah.
you liking it, but um, Kaido's cool. But he's just drunk 90% of the time, so it's just like kind of takes away from it. Oh, you know
Uh,
what? Which one that I really freaking love and like I can't wait to be animated? Beppo.
oh, Beppo. Okay. Yeah.
Beppo, like
Yeah.
oh my god, like and I was so hype. I was when I read that chapter, I was so hype. I
Yeah.
was just like, whoa. It
Yeah,
was
because they hadn't. He was the only one they hadn't revealed his
yeah.
form yet. So
You're like,
yeah,
what are you doing? Like,
and like he was probably the first mink to ever appear, right? Like it was either him
yeah.
or the lion dude. Forgot his name right now. Peckhams.
Uh,
Peckhams.
I, I don't remember him.
He's on Big Mom's crew. He's a lion. He turns into a turtle.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah. I don't know
no,
if he was first or
Beppo
Beppo.
was.
It
We
has
didn't
been
even
Beppo,
know.
right? Like
Yeah, because Beppo was shown in Sabaody. Um,
I'm pretty sure Peckhams was too, right? But
Peck
because he came
Peckums.
with yeah. I mean, it's not important, but yeah.
Oh, you know who? The Baroque works. The that little crow and the little like uh, was like squirrel or that. Um, I remember like I don't know if you remember, but they were the ones that came to kill. I guess like was it two or something in Little Garden? That little
Uh
vulture.
oh
It's
man,
like a
I don't
card.
remember that. Yeah.
They're like a card. Um. Anyway, yeah. It
Oh,
um.
fighting styles. Katakuri.
Kilikuri is cool.
Yeah, I like his fighting style. Yeah, it's clean.
One of my favorite villains, Crocodile. Crocodile has a really cool fighting style.
He's good.
And now, well, like you can even say like what's it called? That fat man, Satori, I think it was in Skypiea. I don't think you remember him too much.
I I don't remember anybody's name except for Anno from Skype. Yeah.
But you remember the when like the fat guy, the
Yeah,
fat
yeah, with
yeah
the glasses. Yeah,
yeah
and the hat. Yeah,
like what was his laugh like hee haw or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Well, in this moment, that guy had a cool fighting style because like you definitely like didn't predict that, and like the balls he created to like kind of like one would explode, one would like give you like something random.
Yeah,
That was pretty
yeah.
cool too.
That was that actually. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's a cool fighting style.
Oh man, but I think that would be everything for me. I don't think if there's anything else to add or anything to like
No,
jump
yeah,
into.
yeah. I
Well, I
think
mean,
we did.
we talk about that, but like going back to subject of cool fighting styles, Doflamingo,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
That's clean. Yeah,
well, one of the cool, and I could see why a lot of people love him as a villain.
Yeah, he's definitely, yeah, he's super clean, has a super clean fighting style.
All right, bro. Well,
Yeah,
I think that would be all. Do
yeah,
you
that's
have
good.
any closing arguments that we have? It's just what would you say, you as a viewer of this random ass podcast, what would you say is considered a good fight? And
Yeah.
I,
For
I,
now, sorry, go ahead.
no, I just was gonna say that I didn't really say mine, but for me, it's definitely like three times good, 3 times good
Yeah,
fights.
yeah. For now, I'm gonna say pre-time skip. Once more of the content of post-time skip comes out, it probably will change just because of, you know, climax of the story and stuff. But
Yeah,
for now, yeah, pre-time skip. Yeah.
all right, brother. I think that is it. I really appreciated that. I got really passionate.
Yeah, man. I think that was a good start. Like,
Yeah.
you know, just touching all the fights and stuff like that. Yeah, we have some more topics, you know, in the future that we'll talk about. And
Yeah, we have some really strong subjects, and again, like I
yeah,
I really like this discussion behind it because we have very different points of views, and I feel like a lot of the time we are able to like meet in the middle ground, like you and I, and that's
yeah,
something I really appreciate about like our friendship, that like you
yeah,
have a point of view, I have another like point of view, and it's just like realizing like sometimes I feel like for me I have a very radical point of view, and it's just like, well, you know what, like this is how it would seem through a more calm um like side, and like I really appreciate that. So
no,
all right, bro.
yeah. I love hearing your viewpoints on and things. And
I think that is it. I'm gonna stop the recording.
for sure.
Goodbye, people. I don't know if we're gonna post it, maybe use it as a personal archive. I don't know, but I really appreciated the talk.
Yeah,